Hey friends in crypto, blockchain, NFT lands, having to do with media. Wanted to get into some of these great avatar projects as of late, and I really loved hash masks. Hash masks for me was such an interesting experiment. I think it was certainly the first that I knew about, and that a lot of people in the communities on OpenSea really, we're trading hard on, and we all saw the valuations of them like really explode, and then came a settling, and I think that as that settling came, it was because we were on other things. We were on to Bored Ape Yacht Club. It's just like this is me on Bored Ape Yacht Club. I was like, was it 3 weeks ago? I'm like, oh wow, this is, I don't know if I like this. That was stage one. Stage one was, I don't know if I like this. Stage two was like, oh, you know what, I like these guys. There's a certain trait. I wanna try and get maybe one of these traits. The next phase is like 3 days of me like, oh yeah, I'm gonna narrow down which ones I like. Phase 4 is like, oh my god, I'm priced out because I've been poring over these rarities and examining and doing that sort of fun stuff, and literally I just price myself out by looking at at them intensively. And I feel like in that hash mask way, I did the same with hash masks. I was like, oh, these are very cool, and I was like, oh, I really liked there's this one out there, gosh, I didn't want to blow it up because I want it still, but there's like some traits on it that I think that's the cool part about the Avatar projects, is that you can identify a little bit with them in what they're trying to express. And I think, all the new projects really, they get that. And so Bored Apes is kind of, I think really drawn in on that because, it's that same sort of one avatar, but it's got so many different articulations that, you can say, that's what I look like when I'm drunk, or that's what I, feel like when I get excited about the price of ETH. And so the project that is capitalizing on those emotions within sort of our quote-unquote genre of blockchain and crypto is Degenz, and that just dropped yesterday, and I happened to hear about the drop. Thank you again, Zach Lona, for I should probably cut out his name for giving me the heads up, and on the drop. And I think that's sort of the feeling of these lately for NFTs has been very ICO-like. You sort of get a big pump, you get like a big drop that's the effing pickle. It was a fun idea, but that's the thing, is like when we're getting into this world of you never know what you're gonna get. It's a gamble, and I'm no longer looking to buy art in that sense of a drop. I'm looking to gamble my ETH, and at a time when we all know it's going to go up. And so it's sort of, I don't know, not really into it as much as I am of the sort of the artistic driven NFTs, but also the NFTs that have the build out. I think that's the big conversation right now. It's like, what is the roadmap that we can build out for these communities that we build when we sell the NFTs? And so do we offer exclusive access to content? Do we offer exclusive chats? And I think beyond just having a Discord server, it's like, what else can you have? And I think that Degenz is that next iteration of that. They want to try and do, I think, a party of some sort. So they're doing 11,111 mints, and they went pretty quick yesterday. A lot slower than I thought, actually, because it was the art was kind of cool to me, and I think that the avatars were cool. Moon Boy scares the shit out of me. And but it's so weird, and some of the like the one of ones and the rarities on all of them really, but Moonboy in particular came out kind of beautiful because he's such an interestingly grotesque character that when you put sort of those rarities onto him, it expresses, sort of the fervor, I think, of what, Degenz as a sort of an idea is, which is, about saying things about our community as, collectors, as people who, invest in coins and sort of, want to make it rich. And so Moonboy is that sort of articulation of the id within our collective. And so as an expression, great idea and great concept, great fun. And so, but I really liked some of the, the farmer, and he's like a farmer lobster, and the gamer girl, and the frog. They're very cool art, and I think it's it's clear that they have a great artist, Pop Man. It was drawn from DC Comics, Marvel, and Warner Brothers, and so certainly a great artist that's giving, I think, life to these characters that you've got to build on with the rarities. And so I was got in onto the Discord. You get into the Discord server, and it's just a chat room. For those who aren't fully into it yet, so you download this app called Discord, and you sort of interact with the community. And then once you find out about the project, and then they kind of update when it's gonna drop, and they really hype it up. So they gave it was East Coast time at 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. roughly, and that was kind of like the window. Like, okay, guys, we're gonna announce it here, and we're gonna drop it here first, actually, within the Discord server, so as not to broadly, I think, because they did it there and Twitter. The Twitter blow up might be a little quick, but I think they really timed it. I think that this is a team that seems to have some experience, and so they released the initial in Discord. And to be fair, this is what happened to me, because I don't think if you had the just getting in is the good part, but getting in earlier to me just didn't seem to matter, because ostensibly this is all randomly generated. I don't know if any earlier sort of numbers had more rarities, etc. But I kind of looked through it, and it didn't seem like that was the case, because this is what happened to me. So I just happened to be working, and then it's like I got the ping of the time that the Discord said, hey, this link is live. Okay, great. So I click it immediately. It was like ping. I saw it. I said, cool. I click on it. Comes up, and I kind of navigated it quite quick. You have to do a slider. You had to do a slider to say if you wanted to mint 1 to 10 Degenz, and at a cost, I think, of 0.11 ETH. I think much less than that. No, it was actually it felt like it was $250 each, and so it's like on one hand that's okay, but then the gas fees on top of that really built up. So I ended up getting 2, and so it's just again, that's not cheap for me, and for ostensibly something that's very speculative, and so I was like, well, I'll get 2, and just trying to figure out how to get one. And so in a drop, because honestly this is my first drop. I've always been getting them on OpenSea, and so for me, going into the open marketplace like I'm doing with Bored Ape Yacht Club and Hashmask and stuff, and even the bulls and I guess the pickle market kind of went down. But if you're trying to get in early, being on OpenSea, unless you're in the first few days or few weeks, is tough, because the price just explodes on you. Which, although I really didn't get much of a chance to see as many of the Degenz as I would have liked to, so I could hone in. So it's kind of a crapshoot, honestly. And so going through the drop, I'm there. I'm super early. Boom, click, and it pulls up. I'm gonna get to. I do the slider, and gas fees pretty high. And so I click OK, and I just see it sort of waiting there, in the Etherscan. It sends you an Etherscan link, and the Etherscan link, sort of that live update of how your transaction is doing across the Ethereum blockchain. Whether that's you're purchasing coins or tokens, what have you. You have this Etherscan that allows you to view real time how your transaction is doing. My transaction was sitting there for a while, and so I kind of harkened back to a friend of mine's advice. It was like, oh hey, you need, if you want to get the drop, you need to up your gas, because if you put like standard gas, or even worse, low gas, you're put into a queue by the miners that is behind the people who are paying more gas, and this is apparently a fact. And as a previous miner of Bitcoin, I understood it to some degree, but I was like, well, how do they choose? Like, can they choose? And apparently they can, because my transaction was sitting there for a long, long time, and it was like 20 minutes, I'd say 15-20 minutes, and I started getting a little FOMO, because then you can see on the drop page how many are being minted. And so of the 11,111, it hit it like 8,000 pretty quick, 10-15 minutes, pretty quick. And so I was like, oh my gosh, it's not gonna, there's like three, maybe less than 3 left, and 3,000 left. And so I was starting to get some real FOMO, and I was like, well, maybe if I do another one and I up the gas on that one, I'll at least get one. And so I put in another transaction, and here's what I learned. That transaction actually goes behind your previous transaction. So my transaction, I was like, okay, let's do one, and then I added the fastest gas possible. I'm doing them on MetaMask, and so there's levels of slow, standard, and then fast on MetaMask. If you go and you click into I believe there's like the 3 dots, and then you bring it down, there's an option to set your gas price. And so I put the fastest one, and then so I queue it up, and then I noticed in the queue it still says pending, and then I put that one with the fast gas and went right under it, and it was like ready. So it was like pending, and this one's ready. And so I was like, oh no, this one needs to clear before the other one goes. And so again, I didn't know it, but I think the sales really started to slow down. I think that the saturation of their initial hype of the drop was pretty good, but it wasn't sustaining. Like it wasn't like gone. Like a concert ticket or something like that. It took a while, I think, for them to get from like 8,000 to about 11,000. And so after a few minutes of me like going, oh my gosh, like I'm probably not gonna get one, feeling like I wasn't gonna get one, there was in MetaMask, there is another button that says, it was like, do you want to go faster? And it was just like I'd never noticed it, but I kind of came out of Etherscan and was looking at the MetaMask. And if you look at the MetaMask wallet, I was looking at the desktop at the time. If you look at it, it has a "Do you want to go faster?" button in the transaction, saying, "Do you want to up the gas?" And so I had almost forgotten. I was just like, "Oh, I left it in standard. I should have put that one into high as well." But you can do it while the transaction is pending, which was interesting. And so, and I was just like, well, I'm gonna miss out because like mine's still pending, and this one that I put high gas fees is under it. And I'm just like, well, I guess I'm buying 3 now, damn it. So I pushed this button, instant transaction, like I was a bit concerned actually, but in that process, in that small, you know, minor process of like, hey, I want to go faster, I want to jump the queue. You can jump the queue by, you know, adding $30 to your transaction, and you know, going from standard to fast. And I don't know, just that didn't seem very equitable. I don't know. I don't know what the word was, but it just didn't seem fair, right? You know, someone with more money being able to do that, and I get it, and I think that, you know, it's in there for a purpose and reason, and I think that helps the mining community, which is, you know, the heart and soul of a lot of this stuff. And like I said, as a previous miner, I like that community and I respect that community, because without that community, we don't have blockchain. And so it's the people that are, you know, investing in these things that should reap the rewards, and they're investing a lot of equipment and a lot of time setting that stuff up, and working with pools, and you know, once you get it set, it's quite nice, and it kind of runs itself. And so maybe that's a side video of World of Mining. But you know, when it came to Degenz, I was just like, wow, okay, I got them. And then it had like this randomization picture, so you didn't even know what it had. I'd say I want to say for like an hour. And so there's, you know, a couple ways that you can see what you have. You know, usually I just go to, because I've, you know, the desktop version of MetaMask doesn't quite have the sort of the friendly NFT interface that the wallet on the phone has. So the laptop version doesn't have, it just has assets, and it has another tab, but it doesn't have collectibles, the collectibles tab that the wallet does on the phone. And so you know, I went to OpenSea and tried to look, and it was just kind of like this randomized photo that was going through. That's sort of like, you know, I see it with oh gosh, what's the undead NFT that's dropping currently, where it's a nice 3D model, but you don't know what you have yet. You know, there's just a sign of a headstone, so you're kind of, there's speculation, and there was early speculation, much like there is for the headstones, of even what you got. So there were people selling based off of this randomized photo, not knowing, you know, whatever they had. So they're just like, you could have something, and you know, the idea of, again, exclusivity, or out of the drop already. They, you know, it's sold out by that time, and then so, hey, you know, you can buy one, and you know, it's just going to cost you a point, you know, 1 or 2 ETH more. And so there were, you know, speculation based off of this sort of rotating of mystery, and you know, probably there were some sales, who knows, and people missed out, and people just finding out on it. Actually, I think that was an interesting thing too, is because, you know, the publicity of these things is, it's very specific, you know, to the community that you're building. It's very narrow, and you're probably borrowing from other communities within the NFT space. And once you hit OpenSea, it sort of opens that up a bit, because then you see it trending. And so Degenz started trending. Twitter was tracking it to like number 8. I felt like it got much higher by the end of that day, because there's a lot of trading going on, especially purchases of the big one-of-ones. You know, there was, I think, a 12 ETH purchase for one of the whales. Again, they're cool one-of-ones, certainly, and I felt like I got lucky. I got my, I'll just show one real quick, the favorite one, because it was a bit of a crapshoot, right? Like, you're like, oh gosh, am I gonna get something that I even like? And so I was super pleased that I got 8509, and I think that he was, you know, I was just like, oh, good, he looks cool. You know, I think I see something in him, you know, wearing the moon suit, and you know, he had a personality to him that was like absurd. This lobster going to the moon, you know, of course going to the moon, but you know, going to space in his astronaut suit. You know, I think is that character being a farmer. And again, I was you know, an early miner, and and we'll get into why I quit later. But I think that when it comes to the expression of avatars, ones that speak to who we are and how we perceive ourselves is interesting. And so I connected with that one right away, and I was like, oh wow, that's a cool one. Lucky for me, that was also it doesn't rank super high in the rarities, but it has a lot of rarities in them. And so there's a list of if you go to oh gosh, I can't even find it right now. Let me see if I can. I don't want to bother you guys. So anyways, looking at the rarable, the rarity, ranking, you can go to a website and it tells you enter in. I feel like you have to give it a couple days as well too, because a lot of the data was kind of coming in. So on OpenSea, a lot of that data was like hitting, and the rarities were kind of off. Like rarity was like, oh, the background is orange, and I'm just like, well, clearly it's blue stars, and so it had like a couple of mistermed rarities, and so I think as the data comes in, it becomes a bit more accurate. And so I think that now Degenz just needs to look for how to I think that's what happened today is with those headstones. That project, I think Gary Vee gave it a shout out because it's cool, and I think it does have a unique roadmap in that it says, hey, we're going to sell you this avatar, and you can play this avatar in a game ostensibly, but you get the 3D file, from what I understand. And so it's it's a curious one, and so again, the roadmaps I think are going to be more and more important, because the roadmaps that we want to get to, obviously our exclusive community, are also gaming, having cool characters within the gaming, certain advantages within games. There's a lot to be done and a lot of work, and that's why I love having these discussions, and I will bring in more friends, because we talk about this a lot, but it's hard to coordinate everybody. We're all so busy, and just want to take some time today and talk about Degenz a bit, and in the comments, if you got one, please drop which one you got, and I think it may require a follow-up video to really get through sort of what Degenz begins to mean, because their current roadmap was, hey, as these get unlocked and get sold, we're going to unlock ETH onto holders, but then you have to petition to get money to get that ETH, and then you'll be given ETH to ostensibly make a party or something. It's a very interesting roadmap, and so but they are to some degree trying to add value IRL in real life with the NFT, and I think that as a creator, I think that's what you're looking for right now. So I'd love to hear the projects that you guys are working on as well. How are you adding value in real life to your NFT creation? How are you enjoying your communities as an NFT holder? And if any of those communities are really interesting to you, which ones are you enjoying right now? Don't say Bored Ape Yacht Club, because then I'll really start FOMOing, and I just can't afford one right now.